Most of the money spent to feed Philadelphians leaves our region in pursuit of cheap food. There's an opportunity with every dollar spent on food to impact our entire society.
Philadelphia is the largest poor city in the United States. Right now, 1 in 4 Philadelphians is food insecure, and as different economic trends continue, we're going to see this number potentially grow even more.
Imagine how many people, how many tourists are transforming this place. Feeding people is the more important thing in any society. We can do any work without food in our stomach. We are showing in every place that the food is not doing the goal that should be.
Food is supposed to be meant to heal the soul and be part of the sound blocks of your nutrition so you can keep going on every day. Organic, fresh, those products usually seem to come with a heftier price tag. There always seems to be a cheaper way, which doesn't always make sure it's the best way, especially when we're trying to promote wellness.
A healthy Philadelphia food system really begins at the farm and runs all the way through the value chain to the consumer. Cheap food comes about because of exploitation. It's exploitation of farmers, it's exploitation of farm workers, it's exploitation of the environment, and ultimately it's a cost that's borne by society as a whole.
That's why we have a lot of illnesses, epidemics of obesity, depression, mental illnesses that can be prevented just with food, with real food, with plant-based food. Not with cheap food, because there is no food. This is poison.
So the problem for cheap food is that when food is cheap, it's cheap on the back of someone. Right now we're doing triage because we're paying for cheap food in the beginning and then it's costing us in the long run. One of the things that would be amazing to see is, like, let's say you're eating, some fast food hamburger and it's got all these preservatives laden with all these chemicals in it, and it might be, let's say, $1. It would be great to see what the real cost of that would be in the long term, and cost to our overall society and our economy.
When food is wasted, there is a lot of capital that's been poured into that waste. How much did it cost to produce that food, to transport it, to package it? And that's when it ends up on the shelf. So when it's wasted, there's a ton of money that we just wasted along with that food.
I mean, we're so fortunate in this area, in this region, to have so many farmers growing beautiful produce for us. And it's such a shame with all the food waste that we see. Why aren't we just buying from them so we can reinvest in our people, reinvest in our local economy, and reinvest in the health of the people in the city?
We aggregate food from sustainable family farms and connect that food to communities, and in particular, people who are food insecure. We're trying to bridge relationships between rural producers, urban consumers, and create greater health and ecological well-being in our region.
It's empowered about how you're going to know and fight for your own human and civil and labor rights. That is the kind of model that Masa Cooperative can be.
I think one of the things we don't respect is food knowledge. We don't respect the people who make the food for us. We need to give the proper value to the level of skill and labor and education that goes into just making the food, but also the sourcing of the food.
Here at Pennsylvania Hospital, we have roughly a crew of 80 employees that work in food and nutrition. A lot of the products were organic, farm fresh, local. The most important thing is making sure you know where your food's coming from.
Companies can be implementing more sustainable policies, so if there is extra food available from their events or when they are ordering food, making sure that they're donating extra food to those in need. If food vendors have extra food, we should be incentivizing them and giving them tax credits so that when they are donating that food, that gets diverted to folks in need.
There's an opportunity to reorient these procurement dollars in support of good food grown regionally that improves our economies, our ecology, and ultimately community health and well-being.
We need to take care of the Mother Earth. There is minerals, there is good bacteria in the fertile soil. There is part of us. We are part of that. And there is the time we need to change and say, we need to do something. And no matter if you feel sometimes alone, everybody we need to do something right away.